An intriguing aspect of One Punch Man, a show about Saitama, the strongest superhero to ever live, is how barely anyone in the grand scheme of hero and civilian society actually know that he is the strongest superhero to ever live. And in many cases, people instead believe that he's either a complete amateur or something of a total fraud. However, not all are blinded to the truth, as among the characters of One Punch Man, there are individuals who are partially or completely privy to the reality-defying power our bald protagonist possesses. In this video, we're going to look at who those people are in both the anime and manga, so expect plot moments mentioned here from both, and to what depth they know of it, and how they found out initially. This is Saitama World, a channel dedicated to the anime and manga of One Punch Man, so if you're a fan of the series and enjoy exploring the series as much as I do, hit the subscribe and notification bell to join the ranks of people who know just how awesome Saitama is. And just as a disclaimer before the video starts, I'm going to leave out any characters who are deceased, since then I'd have to include every single monster he ever defeated, and then it'd just become a bloated, unnecessary mess. Surprising nobody, we start with Genos. He's fully aware of Saitama's power after he was initially saved from Mosquito Girl's terror, and due to this, strives to become a powerful hero himself while following the example of our beloved Caped Baldy. And to jump ahead briefly, Dr. Kiseno by association to Genos would also know that Saitama is strong enough to gain the cyborg's admiration. However, I doubt even Kiseno knows the scale of it, so I'd place him separately at partial awareness. Following that thread, their beginning adventures together took us to the House of Evolution, where Dr. Genus next learned of Saitama's unreal strength when his creations were dominated by the hero's insane physical ability. During this adventure, Armored Gorilla also learned of Saitama's power when he tried to take him out with fellow House of Evolution minions. Later on in the manga, we find that Mosquito Girl had been revived or recovered somehow by Dr. Genus, and since the three of them are so intertwined, it's reasonable to believe that all three of these characters are fully aware of Saitama's strength. Hammerhead of the Paradises also knows enough of Saitama's strength after being completely embarrassed by him, with even that special suit failing him entirely. And not long after that is when he ran into Sonic, and of course, as any One Punch Man fan would know, Sonic is all too aware of Saitama's monstrous attributes. Snakebite Snack is a hero who tried to crush Saitama upon his official entry into the hero world, and soon found out that he was far below the level of Caped Baldy. And while I think he knows that Saitama is very strong indeed, I also think his reluctance of it probably clouds his judgment from realizing how strong he really is. Tank Top Tiger and Tank Top Black Hole found out the hard way just how powerful Saitama is when they attempted to bully him into leaving Hero Society. And before that, S-Class hero Bang witnessed the true spectacle of Saitama's strength when he shattered the falling meteor. Bang clearly has a far higher grasp of Saitama's level than the Tank Toppers do, that much is clear. I mean, how would they know Saitama was strong in the first place? He's not even wearing a tank top. Moomin Rider became privy to Saitama's awesomeness when he was saved by him against the Deep Sea King, thanking him after the fact. And then later on in the story, Boros was enlightened to the true level of utmost power after being defeated effortlessly by our yellow and red wearing hero after invading Earth. Yes, I know, I did say I wasn't going to include the deceased, but I think Boros earned a mention since he's a villain fans regard very highly to this day. King soon found out the scale of Saitama when he was followed and confronted about his lies of heroism, realizing in the process that most of the credit he had been given actually belonged to Saitama's efforts. Next up we have Mummy, Fubuki, and the likes of Eyelashes and Mountain Ape and other members of the Blizzard group also know a meaningful amount of Saitama's power, especially after a bunch of them witnessed him survive Tatsumaki's hard focusing. However, Fubuki is more clued in than the rest of the group due to having spent more time with Saitama. Charanko is also someone who knows the strength of Saitama, but only partially. He's not completely aware of just how unreal Saitama is, but through his Master Bang's respect and endorsement, it should be clear to him that Saitama is minimum S-Class level. Glasses, formerly of the Blizzard group, also has some knowledge of Saitama's strength, as he served for his own inspiration to get stronger when he witnessed him defeat Demonic Fan. Sweeping through the martial arts tournament arc in one swift chop, Sourface and the other contestants all have some idea that Saitama is a powerful being from witnessing his battles in the tournament. However, only Suryu will know the full extent of it after having both fought him with all of his techniques and seeing the result of Goketsu losing to Saitama after it. So impressed by Saitama that it made Suryu want to become a hero too. Later on, when Saitama shows up in the nick of time to defeat the overgrown centipede, Sentichoro, while Bang, Genos and King were no strangers to Saitama's strength, Bomb was also present in that moment and should have no doubt of Saitama's punching power after seeing him one-shot a monster which took on the combined might of Bang, Genos and Bomb himself. Although it is possible that he may have thought King did it, but I'd assume his older brother Bang would have mentioned Saitama's strength to Bomb somewhere at some point. Jinzuren and Busho of the Hero Association both have ideas of how strong Saitama is, with the former being more open to Saitama's power being godlike. They've known about his insane scores in the physical hero exam after he joined and have kept an eye on him since, showing they're at least partially aware that his capabilities are S-class. Sticking on topic of Hero Association and heading deeper into spoilery manga territory, Sitch is also a high-ranking executive who knows of Saitama's immense power after both Blast and Genos confirmed that it was in fact Saitama who saved everyone at the end of the Monster Association arc. Sekingar was told by Genos about Saitama's abilities and achievements at some stage after the defeat of Garo, though it didn't seem like he was particularly convinced by the story, so I'd say partial knowledge at best for him. And even then, it doesn't look that convincing. With regards to Blast, the number one hero found out how incredible Saitama was when he had first class seats to Garo's defeat. And after what Garo was doing, it'd be obvious to Blast that it makes Saitama the realest deal in town. Zombie Man also witnessed Saitama land the winning blow and had his thoughts confirmed by Genos at a later time too, then again with Dr. Genus. Furthermore, Zombie Man is aware that Saitama broke his limiter. Earlier on in the Monster Association arc, Overgrown Rover, what a good boy he is, learned to respect Saitama after getting on the wrong side of the superhero, and other monsters such as Black Sperm and Manako learned of his world-beating power too. Black Sperm is aware that Saitama defeated Garo, so he's enlightened to the fact that Saitama is crazy strong, and Manako saw her fair share of his accomplishments too during their time together with Flashy Flash. Orochi, like Boros, had to learn the hard way, but since he was a huge boss, I'll mention him despite his current status. Flashy Flash, as just mentioned moments ago, is a hero who tested his abilities against Saitama and came up short every time. When they met in the Monster Association's headquarters, Flashy Flash chose to attack him using his blistering speed, only to be stunned at the fact that Saitama was able to evade his attacks. Constantly shocked at Saitama's movement and brute force, Flashy Flash tries to play it off like he's above Saitama still and that it's Saitama who has things to learn from him. At the very least, Flash is aware Saitama is around his own level of power. Nyan is a monster who is aware of Saitama's strength after trying to sneak attack him, yet realized his mistake when he did no damage to our bald protagonist. It's worth mentioning that Nyan is still alive despite defeat to Drive Knight, since the cyborg took the monster prisoner for experimentation, though I doubt there's much more to see from him in the future. Phoenix Man also realized there was nothing he could do to Saitama when he showed up in the battle between himself and Child Emperor, especially after he appeared in the Phoenix space without permission. It was enough to make Phoenix Man know he was dealing with someone he probably shouldn't mess with. Again, I think he learned enough there to not want to see how far the bald hero's power can truly go. Child Emperor may have some clue as to Saitama being a strong individual, but it isn't directly stated anywhere to be the case, but it could be implied since he found the cover-up of Tatsumaki's rampage before his undercover switch to the Neo Heroes. Garo in the manga is also clued up to the power of Saitama. While they had that spacefaring battle which tested the very limits of what a hero and villain could reach, that experience was lost between both Saitama and Garo when they travelled back in time, so as far as the two of them are concerned, Saitama simply beat Garo when he punched him into defeat in front of all the heroes. This means that Garo is aware of the times he lost to Saitama before that legendary battle, but no longer the duel they had outside of Earth. Metal Knight certainly found out the formidable nature of Saitama in a very financial way. The Hero Association spent a ton of money using Metal Knight's defense systems for their base of operations, only for those very defense systems to throw their might at Saitama once they recognize some monsters accompanying him into headquarters as a threat. Through the security footage, Metal Knight now has his eyes on Saitama since he's now aware that even his tremendous creations are feeble in comparison to the caped Baldy. And speaking of that footage, thanks to his own connections, a My Mask also saw the recordings and learned Saitama possesses extraordinary levels of strength, perhaps even believing him to be one of, if not the strongest of heroes, judging by this panel. Tatsumaki made sure to poke fun at Saitama with her remarks about his appearance and class earlier in the series, but after having a run-in with him where she put his physicality to the test with a barrage of psychic attacks after he stepped in to stop one of her rampages, she too found out that Saitama is far beyond what anyone could imagine. Even with a variety of devastating Esper maneuvers, she could not crack the egghead and eventually ceased her telekinetic combos of doom to accept his reasoning for stepping in between her and the Blizzard group once she'd worn herself out. And, linked to that, the hero Forte, someone who tried to challenge Saitama to a fight and ended up losing after getting hit by a car instead. He witnessed Saitama's scuffle with Tatsumaki and in that very moment realized just how outrageous Saitama was and that he wasn't ever going to mess with him again. Finally, the ominous god being has recognized Saitama as the fist that has turned against God through observations of how the hero defeated dragon level monsters with ease, meaning this terrifying new foe in the world of One Punch Man is all too clear on just how epic everyone's favorite Baldy can be. And for what that has in store for Saitama, I guess we'll find out. So there you have it. Everyone alive as of this video's release in One Punch Man who knows partially or extensively of Saitama's unrivaled power. There may be one or two characters who slip through the cracks or have such dubious knowledge in the first place that it's not worth mentioning, but as you can see, we've pretty much nailed the vast majority of the enlightened. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment and subscribe if you want more One Punch Man focused content. Thanks for watching, click on my channel for extra videos and see you on the next one.